Theater in Western civilization can be traced back to the 6th and 5th centuries in Greece, particularly in the city of Athens, birthplace of democracy. Although the government, the economy at that time depended on slave labor, and women were not allowed any sort of voice in any political decisions. For the Greeks at this time, happiness depended on the relationship between humans and human supernatural forces, the gods. There was a god for everything. For theater, the god Dionysus was represented and worshipped. Dionysus, in addition to being the god of theater, claimed by theater practitioners, Dionysus was also the god of wine and fertility. He was the son of Zeus and a mortal by the name of Semele. When the child was born, Zeus's wife Hera ordered the child to be killed, dismembered, and spread out in the desert. Dionysus resurrected, deified, and became the god that we know him today. His life is related to the birth and growth cycle of crops, livestock, birth, growth, death, decay, and rebirth. Every year, the Greeks celebrated Dionysus with festivals, 4 festivals each year. At one of the festivals, theater performances were offered. This was called the City Dionysia. It was a great celebration. It was a demonstration of civic pride because the government and wealthy citizens sponsored these festivals. Also, it helped lift Athens, the city, as a cultural center. It became recognized as a cultural center compared to the other states in Greece. Eventually, theater spread to the Eastern Mediterranean, Turkey, Syria, Lebanon, Israel, and Northern Italy. The theater where this celebration for Dionysus with the theatrical performances was actually constructed on the side of a hill beneath what is the Acropolis. The Acropolis was the city center in Athens. That's where the Parthenon is, as well as the city treasury. The name of this festival was the City Dionysia. 3 playwrights participated at this festival every year. In 534 BC, the first festival was held, and the winner of that festival was a playwright and actor by the name of Thespis. For those of you who have heard the term thespian, gets its name from that individual, that playwright, that actor. As I said, 3 playwrights participated in the festival each year, which was held at uh, in March, in the spring. Warm weather meant that more tourism would be happening at that time, and more people would come to the city of Athens to attend this celebration, this festival. The city Dionysia, the theater that was constructed for this purpose, could seat between 14,000 and 17,000 people. The audience, the spectators, were men primarily, although some women were allowed to attend, but primarily it was men and boys. These performances started early in the morning and lasted until the sun went down. There had to be sunlight so the playing area and the actors, the performance, could be illuminated. Three playwrights every year wrote three tragedies and one satyr play. A satyr play is comic, usually kind of makes fun of a god and that god's behavior or the influence that that god had over mortals. But the tragedies were the most important contributions of these three playwrights. Every year, three playwrights, each writing three tragedies, amounted to 900 tragedies over the 5th century BC. Of those 900 tragedies, 32 of them survive, and they are written by three playwrights. Aeschylus, who gave us the Oresteia, Sophocles, who gave us Oedipus Rex or Oedipus the King and Antigone, and Euripides, who brought us Medea, the Bacchae, and the Trojan women. Our focus this semester will be on Sophocles' play Oedipus the King. The Greek theater structurally is very important because many theatrical conventions were introduced at this time, primarily the structure of the theater and the placement of the stage or the stage itself. In the theater of Dionysus, the seating was placed or designed around a large circular area. The seating on the sides of this hill was more or less like an auditorium, and the spectators looked down at that area. The seating area was called the theatron, which translates to the seeing place. The circular area where their focus was fixated was called the orchestra, or the dancing place. On the other side of that circle, away from the audience, was a scene house or a hut, or originally a tent. It is called the scena. The scena was there for entrances and exits. It was also a place where the actors could go and rest or to change costumes. As time went on, and the theater of Dionysus was constructed to be a more permanent structure, the scena changed. It became more than just a scene house or a tent. It was a structure that spanned about 75 feet wide and had two stories. The first story had three doors, one large center door and two smaller doors on either side. And the second floor had an upper level where performers could appear if necessary. This structure over the years became a facade. It never changed, and the action of every play was performed in front of that facade that remained the same. The way the location of the play was communicated to the spectators was through dialogue. So that structure never changed, but we learned where the action of the play takes place through what the actors said. Other parts of the theater of Dionysus, on either side of the scena, because the scena was not attached to the seating area, that round area for the spectators, were entrances called paradoi, one on either side, and these were also for entrances and exits. In the orchestra area, there was an altar called a thymele. This altar was intended for sacrifices that were made to the god Dionysus. Also, it's important to note that acts of violence could not be portrayed on the Greek tragic stage. Those happened off stage, and then the dead body, an effigy, was wheeled onto the stage. That apparatus that was used to wheel on that effigy is called an cyclema, excyclema. The performers in the Greek tragic theater were, I should probably stop there and I'll be right back.